Hello, everyone. My name is Yabi, and I will be the host for tonight's program. I hope everyone is fine and safe. Please avoid going out or roaming around, as things are getting quite terrible right now. Always remember to wash your hands and avoid touching your face. Most importantly, stay at home. Although this JPO family broadcasts are amateurish, but we are providing opportunities for people with different interests to learn not performance but transferable life skills. We are doing this series of program because JPO think this will be able to help in uplifting the spirit of everyone in this long period of lockdown. So please help us to do the polling, and if you have any questions to ask, please type them in the Q&A right below. JPO are indeed very honored to be able to invite Jessica Leong Wai as our special guest for tonight. Jessica Leong completed her master's degree in solo performance with distinction at the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, and advanced accompaniment with distinction with full scholarship. She is privileged to have been under the tutelage of John Thwaites, Graham McNaught, Fali Pavri, and Aaron Shore. She has also played in masterclasses by Stephen Osborne, Grigory Grusman, and Rolf Hind and Professor Ambrosi for prepared piano. As a student, she won the Tony and Tanya Webster adjudicated by Murray McLellan and the Academy's concerto competition. In November 2008, she performed the Shostakovich Concerto No. 1 with trumpeter Tom Paulson, accompanied by the Academy Orchestra conducted by Nicholas Cleobury. For recent years, she has been attending summer school at the Moscow Conservatory, taking lessons with Yuri Slesserev, Alexander Fomenko, Natalia Chul, and Irina Plotnikova. She is now a freelance musician and accompanying mostly in Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts. So let's welcome Miss Jessica Leong. Hello,
Hi.
Miss Jessica. Welcome to tonight's program. Glad to have you for today. So, could you share us about what we have watched the video just now?
Sure, of course. Just now you mentioned the school that I've attended, which is RSMD. This is the old name for RCS. Now it's called RCS, the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. So previously it's called the Royal Scottish of Music and Drama. So the piece that I played in the video was the Prokofiev Sonata No. 6. Is one of the war sonatas, which is 678. Okay, that is the movement 3 and 4. This sonata, how do you feel? It's very intense and rhythmic, right?
Yes, and a lot of clash chords.
Yes, it's like very chaotic, right? I think
Yes,
this
yes.
passion that the composer wanted us to have is like the war, And then in the first movement, it's so very interesting because it's this part where you need to use the fist to play. Really, you have to smash the piano. Believe me. I can demonstrate now. Actually, I prepared to demonstrate. So it's called corput, whereby you use the fist to stamp, to smash the lower part of the keyboard. It's really fun.
But won't that damage the keyboard, the piano?
Trust me, you can't damage the keyboard this way. You're not strong enough. Really fun. I mean, just watching the video, I feel like the passion is coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Can you tell us more about your background?
Yes, I graduated from RSMD with a Master of Music distinction and accompaniment, which you just read just now. So in the school, I mainly accompanied voice department and the brass students. And then somehow I won the Russian prize, which is the Tony and Tanya Webster prize,
Yes.
which is a competition for rare Russian music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I want that. Maybe my passion for Russian music started there. Then I don't know. Then after that, I did concerto competition, which I won. Playing the Shostakovich number one, which is again a Russian piece.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay. It's very fun too. The Shostakovich. I played both the concertos. Yes, it's very nice.
Wow. We like to share your experience in Glasgow.
Sure. Um, Actually, I live in the students' dormitory throughout. So the student accommodation is walking distance to the conservatory. So it's very near. It's like about 15 minutes. So when you walk to school, you have to pass by this shopping street. It's called the Buchanan Street. So
Okay.
you see all the shops like Up Shop, Dorothy Perkins. So you shop all the way to school every day.
Oh, wow.
Lucky, right? And
How
there are,
about coming back?
yeah.
Coming
So
back from school also shop.
not really, not every day because the shop closed quite early there.
Ah, okay.
Sometimes you stay until 9 p.m. at school, so you can't really shop every day. Maybe weekends. Anyway, the street you live on. So but it's quite easy to find the Chinese grocers where you can cook your own home cooked food, your favorite. Okay, it's quite windy there too. It's really windy and chilling, but the place, the accommodation is comfortable in UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you start doing accompaniment?
Um, um, I started when I did the accompaniment PG tip in RSMD, but that was quite limited. I actually do it professionally when I came back in NAFA. Actually, NAFA gives me a lot of opportunities to play. So I built my experience from there. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So when you started out to build your career, you try to make a name for yourself, and you keep playing. You just play whatever that people give you. So at one point, I played during near to the exam period. I played 9 to 9.
9 to 9.
9 to 9. I had rehearsals from 9 to 9. 9
Wow.
excluded all the practice I have at home.
Wow.
So that period was very intense because the exams are coming for the NAFA students. So that went on for about 2 weeks.
How many total of different
Okay, now that year really my peak. Okay, I can't do it anymore. I'm not young anymore. So how many students, right? That
yes.
year is really really a lot. It's like about close to 40 students, 40 exams.
Per is it like per day? But it's not per day, right?
So it's the total of diploma and degree students that you play for.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really crazy. No, when you are young, you you like to do something crazy, right?
Yes, yes. Wow.
Yeah, but
That
recent years I've cut down a lot. I'm much older now. So I play for strings, and I do have students from the winds occasionally and the brass. But I also play for saxophone, especially during the saxophone symposiums.
wow. Then just now you mentioned that you played from 9 to 9. Then it was exclude the your practice time, your personal practice time was excluded.
Yeah,
Then
exactly. That time I woke up at 5 a.m. to practice.
wow. So like right after 9 p.m. you just go home and rest, or do you still practice?
I wanted
Oh.
to, but I just doze off at the sofa.
Oh, so what's your most memorable experience as an accompanist?
Yeah, yeah. There are many. So to share for you is this. I was accompanying not a NAFA student. I was doing this the grade 8 violin exam, the ERASM exam.
Yeah.
This student, she was playing Franck violin sonata. You know the Franck violin sonata. Yeah.
Yes.
So in the syllabus, there is this fourth movement. There is a tricky part in the fourth movement that half of the time I got it wrong, you know. Okay, so that day, fortunately, I didn't make any mistake for that. The part I wanted to demonstrate here, but unfortunately I can't. So that tricky part, I nailed it that day. So I was quite happy. And after she played the movement, the examiner actually stood up and clapped for me.
Wow.
And then there was this incident. Another grade 8 violin student, ERASM2, because they are inexperienced, you see, they are not like the full-time music students. So they make a lot of mistakes. So anyway, this grade 8 violin student was playing Kabalevsky violin concerto.
Okay.
It's a great repertoire, okay? So, you know, the rhythm is very tricky there. So
Yes.
at one particular entry, she was led by a quaver.
Oh.
You know her part, right? She has this whole chunk of fast quavers. Then she's supposed to come in right there. But then she came in, I can't remember whether it's one quaver early or one quaver late. And then I'm at crotchet beats, right? I'm giving crotchet beats, playing the orchestra reduction, right? So I play, and then when I realized that she was a quaver late or early, I started to have cold sweat, you know. You know, I stopped, and then I waited, and because I have to find her, you know.
Yes.
I have to find her. So after a few bars, I managed to join in. Almost fainted. The incident, almost fainted. Okay, so I managed to join in, and then we went until the end. At the end of the exam, the examiner came to me. The examiner came to me and he tapped on my shoulder. I thought he's going to say, okay, no, never mind about this, you know. But then he tapped on my shoulder and he said, you are the best accompanist that I've ever seen in my experience as examiner for the past 10 years.
Wow.
I don't know whether he's being sarcastic. You know, yeah, it's a memorable experience.
Wow.
Yeah, this too, yeah. And a lot of mistakes that I made along the way. So usually what I do is during rehearsals, you have to take note of all the places, or during a performance, you need to take note of all the places that you make mistake. Okay, so you have to go home and reflect on it, like why this note is wrong. Maybe you need to change the fingering. So every time you don't allow this mistake to happen the next time you play it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. I think that really helps. Yeah, so I usually make a lot of notes in my score.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you compare playing as a soloist and an accompanist? What's the fundamental differences between them?
As soloists, we are taught to balance the parts with the right hand much louder, because the right hand always has the melody, almost always has the melody. So the voicing is very different. So as a soloist, you bring out the top notes usually in the right hand. Okay. So for accompanists, we don't do that, you know. Actually, many pianists don't realize that. Yeah. We emphasize more on the left hand, especially the bass, unless there is a particular melody you want to bring out to answer the soloist. Otherwise, yeah, the bass note, the left hand is more important. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So and also for a soloist, you study the background of the piece that you're playing. You make analysis of the harmonies and understand the structure. But for a accompanist, you prepare yourself slightly differently. Okay, so you need to study the part of the soloist, the person that you are accompanying. So why? Because as for students, right, they usually make mistakes. Maybe they jump a beat, or maybe they jump a few bars if they're playing from memory. So as accompanists, you need to know their parts really well to be able to jump together with them. Yeah. So okay. So after you learn their part really well, you need to be familiar with it. Okay, the sound, and you learn your own part.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would you say you need to have a good sight reading skills to be an accompanist or maybe a soloist?
Yeah. As a sight reader, actually I am quite a good sight reader before I do this accompaniment. So I think even better now. Yeah. So because during exam period, I have this much scores to read.
Wow.
At first, yeah, when you started out, right, you need to learn as many repertoire as you can. For example, at the time, I still didn't know a lot, but now I can sit in and play the Beethoven sonatas, the Brahms cello sonatas,
Wow.
repertoire you need to know. So I don't have to work so hard now. Yeah,
Oh.
because I'm familiar with the pieces. So if I need to play the Brahms cello sonata, and like maybe 3 days time, I just need to learn it maybe in 1 day time.
Wow.
It's more like a revision because you're
Yes,
familiar with
yes.
the melody. So yeah. So this is now I have to I don't have to work so hard now. But there are pieces that I not played before. I wish
yeah.
the opportunity to explore more music.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest challenge as an accompanist and a soloist?
Okay, for a companies, you are working with another person. So during the first rehearsal, or having
Yes.
studied all the parts, right, his part and your part, you need to know that person. Like for example, a ballet student or a cello student, you play the cello, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I play the cello.
Yeah. So you need to understand this person. Like for example, when he's going to start his phrase, how he's going to breathe, because um, some students, right? I come across this cello student where he wants to start a phrase, he not much earlier than his bow.
Oh.
Just if you just touch his head, right, you'll be early. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So for the first rehearsal, you need to make a lot of points like this. So this person, how he's going to breathe, and the safest is watch his bow when he's going to bow.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For so yeah, you need to take a lot of notes about the person's personality, the gesture. For wing players, usually the first time we meet, we need to take down all the breathings, especially yeah, the wing
Wow.
players, they have a lot. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
For string players, I will usually at important points, I will write down the bowing. Yeah, so that
Ah,
I know at this climax he's going to use a down bow, so I can match when she's going to change her bow. Yeah, so I will mark down all these things during the first rehearsal, and we agree on a tempo. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Then
and for
how?
soloist, I think the preparation is very different. Where is just for yourself, you don't have to watch another person when you want to start a new phrase.
Yeah.
you start a phrase just freely as you wish. Especially when you're accompanying a student, you cannot just
Yeah.
start freely, but she needs help. She needs your
Yes.
help. So you need to give her the encouragement to start.
Then would you say being an accompanist is harder than being a soloist?
A soloist, and I believe, has its own challenges. For example, for me, I did also my master of music is in piano performance, so a lot of my memorization to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, correct. For me, because my memory is very bad. So all this year, although I'm busy playing accompaniment, I still keep up with solo playing. Yeah, and keep on memorizing scores. Yeah, so I actually come up with some ways to help myself to memorize.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like for example, if I'm going to share with you my ways to cope with this memory lapse on stage.
Yes.
When I was younger, I didn't have this problem. I know people is just very natural in memorizing. I don't know about yourself. So for me, to secure a performance, I work a lot harder than other people because my memory is quite weak. So recent years, I've come up with this method of dividing into small sections. So you memorize the piece like a jigsaw puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could recall how to start the phrase. So every 4 bars or 8 bars. So knowing that you are able to start anywhere of the piece, it will give you the confidence to play on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. So, what does it take to become a professional accompanist?
Okay. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you need to learn your work very well and the soloist part very well. And so don't be afraid to work hard. The young generations are fast in learning.
Yeah.
They the first time they play the accompaniment, they start cutting notes. Oh, I can't play this. I
Wow.
can't play this. Yeah. So
Wow.
I think most of all is be prepared for rehearsals. Yeah,
Yes.
although your sight read is very good, your sight reading is very good, or maybe you have played this before, but be prepared for rehearsals so you don't go in and try to practice with the student.
Mm.
I think this is the wrong attitude. Yeah, of course you need to be punctual for your rehearsals. For exams especially, you need to be earlier than your soloist. Yeah, I still heard many stories. If people come and tell me that, oh, my company's almost late for my exam, or my company's can't play the part, he didn't practice, or something like that. So I heard a lot of stories.
Wow.
Yeah. So okay. As a accompanist, as you're studying the part, especially for wind players, when they go to a lower register, so you have to be very sensitive not to cover the low notes.
Ah.
Yeah, the wind players are it's quite crucial for them, this part. Yeah. So yeah, some students might ask you to play louder. In this part, I'm not so good. Can you play louder? Funny. So during rehearsal, the practice with the student, right? So I usually take note of the part that the possibilities of getting wrong. Where she might go wrong.
Oh, okay.
But usually, the mistakes are those unpredictable places. Yeah, like for example, she missed one crochet. So on the spot, right, especially during a performance, I can't do the math, you know.
Oh.
Should I continue on and maybe skip a beat for her? I'm confused. Should I make another beat for her, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I think I couldn't work on stage.
So you had to prepare before.
Yeah,
Oh,
the focus must be there.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for performance as both an accompanist and a soloist?
Mm. For a soloist, you need to memorize your music well. Okay, so know your music well. For accompanist, it depends on who you play with. So if you're playing with some professionals, if you are playing with some teachers, then you can enjoy your own part. You don't have to uh, worry so much, you know.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
the students' part, you know, make sure they are in line with you. So if you're playing with teachers, it's actually very enjoyable where you can express yourself freely. Yeah. Um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Um. Okay. So I know that you have been to Moscow for the past few years. So would you like to share with us your experience in Moscow?
Yeah. I started going to Moscow, the Moscow Conservatory, many years ago. Why I started going? Uh, a friend mentioned it to me, so I decided to give it a try. At first, the first time I went over, I actually didn't know what to prepare.
How old were you that time?
Oh, okay. Maybe quite a number of years ago. so so every year, I bring Prokofiev Sonata over to
Yes.
play and get corrected. I like the way they teach there, and I think mm, it's the best place to learn a Russian piece of music, especially Prokofiev. Their ideas about the music couldn't be wrong, and they're very direct in their instructions, very easy to follow. So I really learned a lot there. So when I play for them, you know, the teachers are like Yuri Cesarev. He's quite well known. Natalia Tool, very well known too. Alexander Fomenka, Plonikova. These teachers. So when you play with them, they have like a two piano in the room. So you don't have to. You just have to be yourself. You don't have to show with any gesture, you know, to try to pretend to be somebody else, because once you touch the key and start to play, they know you. They know what you can do. So it's when you play for them, you can be very honest with your own playing, and it's just like you play without makeup.
Oh wow.
Yes, it is a yeah, wonderful experience. Yeah. So they will know that this part you couldn't do it, not because of you, it's because of the piano. Nobody needs to explain that, and we have mutual understanding.
Would you say? Would you? Okay. How should I phrase this? How should I say this? Would you say it's easier to learn in Russia?
It depends on your character, you know, because over there, you know, Russian people, they are very. What is your impression of a Russian person?
I would say critical.
Critical. Maybe they are very straightforward, like very mean. Maybe you think right, mean, right? Actually, not
Yes.
all. They are actually very warm people, very extremely nice people.
Wow.
Yeah. The first time I went, I see the buildings. They are huge buildings. Everything is big. I didn't understand that why Russian music is like Rachmaninoff. It's
Yes.
so huge, so thick. The sonority is so thick. I suddenly understand it all.
Wow.
Yeah, because you feel very timid there. Everything is huge. The building, that's just huge. So you are just there, very tiny. So if you ask me, for somebody to feel nervous, right? If you mentioned to the professor that you feel very apprehensive and worried about your concert, they will look at you in a strange way.
How come?
Because nervous is simply not in their dictionary.
Oh.
You're not brave,
Wow.
the courage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which I admire a lot. So they will look at you in a strange way. Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice experience. So altogether, I finished the Prokofiev sonatas already. Yeah.
Okay.
In the course that I took there, every after every month, the course there will be a concert.
Okay.
Yeah, which you get to play in the different halls. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So moving on, what are your upcoming projects?
yeah. Like I mentioned just now, I started bringing Prokofiev sonatas. Sorry,
Take
too
your
excited.
time. Take your time. It's okay. It's okay.
So I started bringing the one by one the sonatas over and studied them there. So I started. I actually perform all the Prokofiev sonatas, which are 9 of them, incomplete. So in two parts, I think 2 years ago or something. So that is the piano sonatas. I played the complete cycle, like what you would do for Beethoven sonata cycle. So I did
Okay.
Prokofiev cycle. And after the two piano recitals, I actually did the violin and cello sonata as well. The
Wow.
violin sonata, the number one in F minor, is actually rarely played in Singapore.
Ah,
Yes, it's a very wonderful piece.
but
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
not that friendly to non-musicians, is it?
I think, yeah, it doesn't have nice melody as you would hear for a Chopin sonata or the ballad. You enjoy.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, it doesn't satisfy the listener in that way. So mostly what you hear in this music is a lot of dissonances, a lot of
Okay.
dissonance, touching notes and chords. But then when it finally arrives at a major chord at the end of the movement, is really
Wow.
very touching.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a wonderful experience. So and also there is this rhythmic energy in most of them. Yeah, so it's very energetic, rhythmic. It's like a bottle of chicken essence.
Oh.
Like, you know, like some days you feel really tired, right? So it's like a boost, really. That's what I like about his music. And you could hear the fourth movement in the video. Was
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
very
Like now we will be sharing the short video.
sure, sure.
Okay, okay. The short video for the fourth movement. Wow.
Do you like that?
Yes, yes, yes. It's
The second
amazing.
sonata is very enjoyable.
Yes, and it's
Yeah,
also quite intense.
intense. You should listen to the first one, the F minor.
Wow. Okay. So, knowing what our Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra is doing, do you have any advice or views regarding the activities that we are doing?
I know the JPO, right?
Yes.
O is continuously making great contribution to the community with organizing of concerts, chamber music workshop, music camps, and outreach programs, giving free music lessons to the underprivileged students who couldn't afford music exams and live broadcasts like this. So therefore,
Yes.
I am congratulating JPO for its achievement so far, and I'm wishing JPO all the best in its future endeavors.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Okay. So now we're moving on to the Q&A session.
Sure.
Okay. For the first one, uh, it's a compliment. So Jessica, you look so young. You don't seem the age you said you are.
Sorry, say again.
You don't seem the age you said you are.
Well, I wouldn't want to reveal my age.
Okay, for the next one, from what you have shared with us, you are rich with experience within playing with young string players. What is your advice? What advice can you give to our general young string players to improve themselves?
Okay. Young string players, huh? Are you talking
Yes.
about full-time music students or non music students? Not
I don't. The person did not mention.
okay.
So
And
yeah.
for if you are non full-time music students, the expectation will be lower because if you are full-time music students, you are expected to know a lot of things, to be able to understand music, to understand well. But if you are just a young student, um, taking, for example, graded exams, the ARSM graded exams, I think the repertoire would be maybe the higher grades, maybe six onwards. I understand when a string student is being taught the violin, for example, at
Yes.
first, right? You
Yeah.
you won't learn like a pianist. When you are taught at first, you learn how to count your rhythm. For a string player, what you need to do is not the rhythm, but you need to learn how to draw a beautiful sound from the violin.
Yes.
I think it's because of this. Sometimes, not all the time, okay? Sometimes the students might not understand the rhythm so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for graded exams. Yeah, so it's very difficult to help them. Yeah, especially when the teachers, their teachers, right, don't pay much
Yes.
attention in this area. So it's like when I meet this student who is taking grade 6 for the first time, and he or she has no rhythm. Can you imagine?
Yes, 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 yes.
I I couldn't play at all because she has no idea what she's doing. So this is
Yes.
very crucial. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not talking about intonation and all, it's just the rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So learning the rhythm well is very important. Mm.
Okay. So now moving on to the next person.
Yeah.
And these are all anonymous from anonymous. So what advice can you give to string players for them to prepare a piece to be played and performed with the pianist?
Okay. Sorry. I'm a bit distracted. Can you repeat the
Okay, it's
question?
okay. What advice can you give to string players for them to prepare a piece to be played and performed with a pianist?
Okay. Now, it depends on what kind of piece. Okay. Professionally speaking, if you are playing a concerto,
Yes.
like for example, you are preparing for the audition. Okay.
Okay.
So you're playing the Mozart third concerto, the G major.
Okay.
Okay. And this is concerto. If you're playing a sonata, then it's a different story. Because for sonata, for piano and violin, for example, they both have equal part. They are equal
Yes.
part.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So if you're just playing concerto and the pianist has to play a reduction,
Yeah. Oh.
yeah, then the story will be different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What advice can you give to aspiring young string musicians who love music, who love their instruments, who have achieved some achievements when they are young, but are afraid or hesitant to take music as a full time career?
Yeah. Are you talking about string students?
I believe this can be applied to most musicians, such as myself, too.
Can you repeat your question?
So what advice can you give to aspiring young musicians who love music, who love their instruments, and who achieved some achievements when they are young, but are afraid to take music as a full time career?
Yeah. That actually this question depends on which country you're living in. Yeah,
Okay.
because in Singapore the situation is very different. So we pay a lot of attention to the study. Yeah. So even if you're a good player and show a lot of potential when you were young, but study still come first in here in Singapore. But for other countries, it may not be the story. So generally speaking, to answer that question, I would say that for pianists, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, can I direct this to a pianist? So usually for young pianists, they are told to do a lot of the basic repertoire, like the Chopin, the Liszt,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
very virtuosic pieces. Yeah. So I think to some extent that is quite good because it builds your the core of your understanding of the music and you build your technique along the way.
Ah,
Yes. Don't be afraid to explore outside the standard repertoire. Like for example, music like Prokofiev, I think is quite quite rare.
yes.
Yeah, quite rare. I think in Singapore so far I didn't hear any other works besides the sonata. Actually, Prokofiev has other pieces for piano and they're very nice. Like for example, the sarcasms, the etudes, the vision fugitive. They are very nice pieces, but we lack of people to explore this area.
Ah.
Yeah.
How about string players?
String players, huh?
Ah.
Let me um uh, uh, uh this teacher here, okay? I think this generation is heavily influenced by social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, we like to watch something that is virtuosic on YouTube. How
Ah.
fast and how good this person can play. Um, um, I think we don't need to copy.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need copy anybody's style, but to discover what is unique for yourself.
Okay.
Yes, it's quite easy to say, but it's
It's
difficult to
very
do.
yes, yes, yes. It's very hard.
Yeah, but I think um, learning the standard repertoire is still very important. Yeah, at first before you venture out on your own.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So this question is from my sister, Yapchin.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Oh,
Miss Jessica. How do you fit in so well with other soloists? Do you study a little bit about their instruments, or is it because the tons of experience that you've gained?
okay. Now, firstly, I thank Yachin for the compliment. Uh, okay. I think generally I am a very sensitive person.
Okay.
I like to observe people's gesture a lot,
Oh.
a lot.
Wow. Okay.
That is why I am able to guess most of the time what a person wants to do. For example, when this violinist would like to take time, or I try to communicate with this person and try to sense any signals that she's giving to me. Yeah, but having said that, I still have a lot of problems with a lot of players. Yeah,
like how? Like
yeah.
we
For strings, right, is for me for violins, it's easier for me to watch because they just stand right beside you. You
yeah.
know, you can see they're moving very easily. But for a cellist,
Yeah.
where they're in front, you couldn't see the body gesture so
You
well.
can only see the head, the top part only.
Usually, I watch the bow.
Oh, okay.
But can you imagine that for a student who doesn't breathe because they're not breathing, you see,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't breathe.
It's hard to get the
Yeah,
signal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and some can you imagine that some students the cello students who actually don't breathe their phrases, so it's very difficult. Yeah, um, yeah, I still have not mastered that area yet. But for winds, right, because they need to breathe, so it's still quite easy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, so before wrapping up tonight's program, Miss Jessica, do you have any advice you would like to share to the attendees and the viewers?
Okay, let me check my notes. As I mentioned, do not be afraid to work hard when you first started off because the repertoire is so huge. Yeah, so you have to learn the standard repertoire. Yeah, it's just that punctuality, and hard working. Preparation is very important, and even though you are a sight reader, doesn't mean that you could just walk into a rehearsal without preparation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will be all for tonight's program. On behalf of JPO, we would like to thank you very much for dedicating your time, Miss Jessica, and energy into this interview, despite the pandemic that is happening right now. So, unfortunately, we are running out of time for this interview, so we had to end it. So, we would also like to thank everyone who has attended and supported this program. You guys have been great. I hope you guys got the answers you wanted. For those who are still waiting for an answer, please stay as Miss Jessica Leong will answer your questions through the Q&A below later. And please check for the link at our JPO Facebook page and stay tuned. For anyone interested to share any of our program with your family and friends, it will be on our Facebook page, Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra, and also at our YouTube channel, Jesselton Philharmonic Orchestra Media. And now I will lead the prayer to end tonight's program. So please pray in whatever faith you believe in for the COVID-19. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your faithfulness in how you have guided and equipped people in their jobs and have provided in the past. It can be scary and overwhelmingly not knowing how bills and obligations will be met or to not be able to provide for families. As people feel financial strain during the uncertainty, bring them comfort and peace, reminding them that you are there for them. Provide for them in their times of need. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So that will be all for today. Thank you, everyone.